I always thought Mixer was destined to fail.
Today, Mixer dropped a surprise announcement by saying it's shutting down. They're giving up.
The world of game streaming is basically run by a duopoly, Twitch and YouTube. We've seen competitors along the way, such as DLive and Trovo, but they always seem to be outshined by their big brothers and fall short in terms of functionality and user experience. Mixer was no different. But hold on. First, let's meet the players. Matt Salsamendi and James Boehm, original co-founders of Mixer. Their origin story began in the virtual world of Minecraft, where at the age of 13, Matt started his very own Minecraft server hosting service. James, then 15, saw an ad for Matt's service and reached out to him, whereupon the two became good friends. Together, they grew the business and created MC Pro Hosting. From 2011 to 2014, a $7 investment from Matt's dad grew into a company worth nearly $5 million. But it was time for a shift of focus, because live streaming was on the rise.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt. I'm 18 years old and I'm the CEO at Beam.
Contrary to what you may think, Mixer didn't start as Mixer, but as Beam Interactive, and marketed itself as a low-latency, high-interactivity streaming service, where viewers could get directly involved with streamers' gameplay through crowdsourced controls.
So Sat has put buttons underneath his stream that we can use as viewers to go in and control actions within his game. So James can go in here and give him a survival kit, so boom, he's got some resources that he can use to help him win. So we can also make things a little bit more interesting for him. So let's spawn some zombies to make things a little bit more interesting.
Whoa.
So you can see how Beam makes it possible for viewers to get involved with streamers' gameplay.
As well as this very new interactive concept, Beam also sported a stream delay of just 0.25 seconds, compared to Twitch's 15 to 20 seconds back in 2016. This made it a very attractive startup, and it won TechCrunch's Disrupt New York Startup Battlefield, which is a fancy way of saying they won $50,000 in a competition. But it wasn't just the TechCrunch judges that thought this was a good idea, because just 3 months later, Beam was acquired by Microsoft, and Matt and James became Microsoft employees. But things just aren't quite the same when your company is run by a bunch of white-collar executives instead of two teenagers, and the culture of the company started to shift from fostering a community to making a profit. The first corporate change that Microsoft made was changing the name of the service from Beam to Mixer. I honestly don't know why they did this. I personally preferred Beam, but hey, it's Microsoft. I'm sure they know what they're doing, right? Right? Quarter after quarter, Microsoft was waiting to see Mixer grow. But quarter after quarter, the platform's numbers were practically a completely straight line. After 2 years of no discernible shift in the numbers, Microsoft decided it was time for a switch in game plan. If no one was paying attention to Mixer, then they would make people pay attention. All they had to do was make a big spectacle of it. And that's a pretty easy thing to do when you have infinite money to spend.
I know this may come as a shock to many of you, but as of today, I will be streaming exclusively on Mixer. I know, it's exciting.
Finally, people were paying attention to Mixer. The traffic was booming, people were signing up in numbers never seen before, and the company was finally seeing some success. And hey, I guess if the formula ain't broke, then don't fix it.
Hey guys, it's announcement time. Let's jump right into it. A lot of you have been expecting this, guessing it on Twitter. But as of the 29th of October, we will be streaming exclusively on Mixer. Sat down thinking this was going to be a tough decision, but honestly, it felt kind of easy peasy.
Mixer bought out some of the top streamers in the industry, banking on the fact that they would bring their loyal fan base with them and rejuvenate the platform. And it kind of worked, at least for a bit. Naturally, these streamers wouldn't bring all of their audience with them, so a drop in viewership is pretty understandable. But I don't even think Mixer fully anticipated just how far these streamers' numbers would plummet in the coming months. Before Ninja left for Mixer, he had an average of 37,000 concurrent viewers on Twitch. The month he switched, he dropped to an average of 8,400 concurrent viewers on Mixer. That's a 77% drop in viewership. Stream Hatchet says that from May 2019 to May 2020, Ninja's audience decreased by 74%, and Shroud's decreased by 88% in the same time frame. That's an unbelievably massive drop, and I don't think anyone expected it to be quite this drastic. In an interview with Insider, a former Mixer employee said that the platform never technically grew. The addition of Shroud and Ninja was supposed to ultimately bring over their communities and help grow the platform from the top down. Instead, those communities came for the big names and left when those big names weren't live. Their communities never really stayed. The founder of Mixer, Matt Salsamendi, even said that the big money deals were a tactical error and that the company should have invested in shoring up the communities that were forming organically on the service. He said, "It's kind of like putting a skyscraper up in the middle of the desert. You have to build infrastructure around it from a community standpoint for the occupants of the skyscraper." Things just didn't seem to be working out. Microsoft had spent $30 million and $10 million to get Ninja and Shroud on board respectively, and the platform just wasn't seeing any growth to justify the extraordinary amount of money being pumped into the platform. As a result, it was time for Microsoft to do what so many people have been dreading for the past few months. And on the 22nd of June 2020, Microsoft put out a statement saying that the Mixer platform would be closing for good on July 22nd of the same month. This left many streamers that called Mixer their home completely disillusioned and heartbroken. Although the community on Mixer was small, it was also very loyal, with many people taking refuge there to escape draconian and toxic platforms like Twitch. And to those people who had helped build Mixer to what it was, it just felt like a slap in the face.
I'm disgusted in Microsoft. I'm disgusted in Mixer. This is years of hard work for everyone.
All your achievements, all everything, we're just going to toss it in the bin because you don't deserve it, bro. That's what they're saying.
Mixer will remain online and running until the 22nd of July. 1 month. They're giving us 1 month.
But what happened? How did such a successful concept fail this drastically? Well, when Mixer first launched, a lot of the appeal was the super low latency that it offered. But as time went on, competitors like Twitch lowered their latency to around 2 to 3 seconds. I've noticed YouTube has lowered their latency from 5 seconds to around 3 seconds more recently, so everyone was catching up. The difference between 2 and 0.2 seconds is a lot less than 20 seconds to 0.2 seconds, and when you consider the differences in community and audience size, it just doesn't make sense for anyone to use Mixer to get a 2 seconds reduction in stream delay. The support for the interactive features were also super overstated in the beginning stages of the platform, and not many developers took the time and effort to create customized controls for Mixer to take advantage of. So the exclusivity element just wasn't there anymore. There was just no reason to use Mixer over any other platform. But people still believed in Mixer. Despite its flaws, it had a super loyal community, and it even outnumbered Twitch in the amount of unique active channels back in Q3 of 2019. Small streamers flocked to Mixer, but Mixer neglected their own homegrown talent in favor of buying out big streamers from other platforms. As Matt said, if Mixer had taken the time to organically grow their own talent instead of artificially pumping in viewers from outside platforms, everything may have been a very different story. Despite the millions and millions of dollars spent to buy out big streamers from other platforms, Mixer didn't seem to take any advantage of the impact of the COVID-19 lockdown, where, in the matter of a few weeks, everyone was stuck at home.
Have you seen, since this quarantine has happened, have you seen your numbers go up ever since everybody's home, or are they kind of...
No, man, Mixer really hasn't been doing a lot of advertising of the platform during this, which is, a little bit of a missed opportunity right now. There could be some definite traction, pushing some audiences there.
They could have done some great advertising and marketing, but instead they did nothing. Like, literally nothing. Which led Mixer to growing only 0.2% during lockdown where other live stream platforms grew 99%. It almost seems to me that Microsoft already knew the demise of Mixer was near, so why even try when you know what the outcome is going to be? Previous employees also spoke to Insider about how there was a cultural mismatch between Mixer and Microsoft. Allegedly, Microsoft would assign managers to Mixer with limited to no experience in the gaming industry, leading to long-running internal clashes over the direction of the platform. Mixer was just more trouble than it was worth. I think this goes to show that just because something is run by a big, successful company doesn't mean it's going to be successful by extension. A lot of the time, big corporations like Microsoft are just completely tone deaf to what consumers in a very niche field like this really want. They didn't want corporate bullshit. They didn't want big streamers. They wanted a community. This is clear from looking at the stats. Ninja and Shroud's first streams on Mixer were massive, but they failed to maintain their audience several months down the line, with only about 10% staying on. And it's pretty sad, but I kind of expected it. The demise of a platform like Mixer is never good news, but business is business. Microsoft bought out Beam for it to become profitable several years down the line, and that never really happened. If something isn't profitable, companies will just get rid of it. That's just the way the cookie crumbles in the cutthroat world of modern-day business. I just hope that other innovative gaming startups down the line won't fall victim to the same fate. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.